Yeah, scoot over. All right. Well, welcome everybody. Glad to have you guys here tonight, and we are going to chat a little bit about. What's going on the farm. We've got Savannah, myself, and Ellis is joining us. Hey there, kiddo.
He's the real expert.
So yeah, we're here to just answer your questions, chat a little bit about what's going on the farm, and I think our team said we're going to talk about hiring, because with an operation we've got right now, we do a lot of hiring, and so it definitely is important to make sure we have the right people on the team, because I can't do all the work, you can't do all the work, and we now have 3 main divisions in the company. So we've obviously got the on the farm, which includes the farm store.
Yeah.
And now the
farm itself feels like it has 3 divisions. Like
okay.
Growing, like production, the store, and then shipping.
Yes. Well, I was going to more classify it as the shipping is kind of its own thing.
Oh, okay.
The farm supplies the store. The farm does supply the shipping. But in all reality, a lot of the products that the farm supplies for the store are very, very, very seasonal, like the willows and elderberries.
You mean for the store?
For the online store, yes. Yeah. That only gets harvested once a year. Yeah. So we go out there, harvest them, they go right into the cooler, they get packed. So then the store, and I think the store, in all honesty, is it just runs itself. We've got really good staff in there, and we go out. Oh, hi, am I getting a smile? We've got a great team lead there, and we just hired a new person for there. That was actually some of our drama a bit, but in all reality, that kind of stayed together. Yeah. And then we've got the production side of the farm, which is working good. And the biggest problem with the production side of the farm is we've got several fabulous staff over there that are very committed and doing a good job, but neither of them have a background in horticulture.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of training that has to go on with that. So, we have talked about bringing on an actual grower, someone that has, 10 years plus or at least 5 years of like solid vegetable experience.
Somebody who can go out and say, we're about to have an aphid problem.
Yes.
And know how to handle it.
Yeah, or hey, we're gonna plant tomatoes, and like, all right, well, I need to do this, I need to do this, I need to do this.
Yeah.
So our team is like, we did plant tomatoes, but every single step has to be laid out. And again, it's done really, really well because we got really good people there. But someone who can, what we'd like to talk about is like someone replaces me on the growing side of the business, as I'm pulled in 1,000 different ways with other things. And then we obviously have the kitchen too. So I think that's kind of its own, and actually that's going under its own LLC now.
Yeah, that really is its own thing.
Because that part of the business is now we're getting ODA compliant on that, which means, oh yeah, and good evening everybody, and feel free to drop in the chat where you guys are coming from, and if you do have questions for us, feel free. I mean, even if it's about what elderberry type should be good for my soil, or what's the favorite loaf of sourdough in the store. But yeah, the kitchen, and actually we're in the process of hiring our 3rd person in the kitchen. Well, our main person is going on paternity leave. He'll be going out paternity leave as soon as his wife has the baby. So we will be needing someone to replace that. But then also
we'll kind of float for that season.
Yes, and then basically because we're going ODA compliant, that means that we'll be selling wholesale. And so with selling wholesale, now we need a lot more people in the bakery. Now, it was really interesting because we had 3, we advertised for about maybe 3 weeks or so. And then Janelle, who's our admin and does HR, she did initial interviews with a fair amount of people. We kind of sorted through them. And after her phone interviews, we did 3 working interviews. And each person in the working interviews all 3 of them would have been fabulous hires. We actually had the discussion today about the team, and but what it came down to is the conversation wasn't necessarily who does Michael want, but it was talking with already 2 people in the kitchen and going through the strengths, and I don't think they have really weaknesses, but the specific strengths of those people in relationship to how many hours they wanted, what the pay rate was going to be. and how they would fit in the overall cohesion and what we're trying to do with the bakery.
I think it would be more like what our weakness is in the sense that like what are their strengths and how will they help shore up the weaknesses that we're currently kind of feeling.
Correct.
To move us to the next step. Because sometimes you have someone great, but they're like, I remember even when we were hiring very, very, very early on, we were hiring great people, but it's like, oh, this person is for us in a couple of years, not right now.
Yes. Well, and that's what it came down to is, yes, there's, we ended up waffling between two, and I'm not going to say what we strength because I don't think the offer's actually gone out yet to the person we're going to be hiring, but
well, hopefully accepts.
Hopefully accepts. But
that has happened too.
Yes, is that we literally just had this happen again. But I just want to address the comments here. We've got Sue from Illinois Family Institute. Awesome to see you. And then Emily. Emily, good to see you. So glad you're a member of the farm. Cindy, of course, we know you, Cindy. And then Samantha.
A children's book called My Dream Farm.
I'll have to check with Jamie on that.
We will have to check. Oh, I would like to see that.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes, we'll make sure we check with Jamie about that. And then Holly, good to see you, Holly, too. Yes, we have toddlers too. One of them, 3-year-old, who did not want to go down.
Well, hopefully. Who knows?
Yes.
Stay tuned.
But yes, back to our kitchen things there. So it really, I think you said it well, is that we looked at the weaknesses we have in our team.
Yeah.
And what we need, and we fit the person in that kind of shoehorn the best.
Right.
And again, the goal is with that team for the next 3 months to really double and triple kind of the production out of that facility. And team's confident. We just finished writing our food safety plan, which is actually right here. Is this the food safety plan? Yes. Anyway.
You know where that is.
No, it's going in a binder. Actually, no, this is it right here because it's going in the binder with all the stuff. But it's 20-something pages. It's got a sign off. Now, it's interesting, guys, because the food safety plan is all about risk assessment. And so, like, one of the things that we have to do is ingredient screening. So the hazard is contaminants like the shells in the Kirkland nuts or debris in the flour. And, one of the control is to visually inspect it as it comes in, and then you have to log it as it comes in too. So just the kind of stuff we have to do to sell ODA compliant, it's a lot. It's a lot. And you're going to be very safe when you eat our food. But back to the whole hiring thing, because I think, we did have someone who very qualified.
Oh, yeah.
Came to us, saw the job description they came for. It was one pay rate. Mm-hmm. And unfortunately, we're still a very small business. We cannot offer a lot of benefits.
Yeah.
We're very clear up front about that. We say it.
The benefit is I make snacks.
Yeah. Well, there's other benefits too. You get to work with cool people. You get discounts. Actually, full-time staff get a free CSA bag typically. So yeah, there's some perks here. But this person came in, and we basically wrote the offer to exactly what they asked for. And then they turned it down because they said we didn't offer benefits. And we're like, you saw that coming in if you'd read the description. And I would say they did because they did a very thorough interview.
Yeah.
They filled everything out.
Well, and you don't know. I mean, I feel like as we're interviewing people, they're interviewing us too.
Mm-hmm.
Like, is this where I want to work? Is this where I want to, spend my time? So who knows what the deal is. And I think also when people are leaving one kind of atmosphere, whether it's corporate or working for, another kind of like small business, you kind of maybe just assume certain things.
Yeah, that's true.
And then you're like, oh, it's not going to be like that. So I feel like, I'm willing to give people who seem well-meaning the benefit of the doubt. I think it just wasn't a good fit. And she will be great at whatever she does.
Yeah. But on the other flip side of that, we literally had someone just walk off the job in the middle of the day and text us, literally go to take their lunch, text us 2 to 3 minutes later, I'm leaving, I'm going home, I'm not coming back. And there was no signs of anything before that. It was literally like, okay.
Well, yeah. And so you have to just be willing to, again, give people the benefit of the doubt and, yeah. There's nothing you can do to stop. And then things happen. You know, we don't know everyone's story. We don't know everyone's deal, you know?
Yeah. But I mean, again, I've been hiring now for, let's say, 25 years. And I mean, we've had everything. I have actually a classic picture that I'll show in one of my presentations when I do them to farmers. I have a guy literally laying spread eagle on the ground, taking a nap. And that guy lasted literally half a day in my previous farm in upstate New York. And again, just wasn't a good fit for him. But
so there are a few things I feel like we have done to try to really vet people for our farm, for our working dynamic. And that is, we do have like a laminated couple pages of, you know, paper with a list of questions that Michael pulls out. And there's a few like kind of weird questions that I'm always like, why do you ask that question? You know, but it's always interesting to hear what people say. Like, how lucky do you think you are is one of them.
And we're not going to tell you what the answer should be.
Yeah, well, it doesn't really matter what the answer is. There's not a right or wrong one. It's just hearing them process out loud how to answer that question.
Yeah.
And then I always like to ask, you know, how do you feel about change? Like, how are you with change? Because I think that is a big part of farming, that things are constantly changing or they need to change really fast. Some of that's weather dependent. Some of that's a shipment came in late or early. You know, we need to be able to be really flexible, and that does not work for some people. And there's a stress that comes with that can really crush people sometimes
if they're not flexible. I mean, like we had recently had a trucker show up at 5:55.
Yeah.
And you know, that was after the crew had left for the day, but also our where we get deliveries down the street of Gross Lumber was also they were about to close up. Yeah. They have fabulous staff. They really accommodate us down there.
But still, that's close.
That's close.
That's feeling rude.
So, but yeah, it is a challenge. Interestingly though, if you apply to work here though, we have a multi-step application process. There are Easter eggs throughout the process as well. And when I say an Easter egg, it is a little bit of a tweak that you have to catch, because you know, one of the things here too with any business is you need to be able to pay attention to detail. You know, granted, we have tasks where you're out there just spreading straw or pulling weeds, but even when you're pulling weeds, you kind of have to know what weeds are there.
Yeah, what's a weed?
So you know, like we have an application. We had 3 applications that came in today, and I'm just reading through one of them, and it's an immediate, even not going to get a call back because the person didn't fill the application all the way out. They didn't answer all the questions.
Yeah.
And I don't know the person's where they're going with this, but to us, as someone who's hiring, if someone can't even fill the questions out, it's either they feel like they're too good for the question or they're not willing to put in the work for the question. And so, unfortunately, they're just not going to get a call because we're going to put in the work to train you to the amount of time and effort we put into training people and all of that. And if you want to work here, you have to give us the information we need in that. So, all right, here we go. We do have some questions about elderberries. I do want to get to those here. Susan says,
sleep at midnight. Sorry, I just saw that. It's not that bad around here, but sometimes it can feel that way.
Yes, yes. Susan says, just getting started in general, specifically with elderberries, how many should I have for good berry production? So an elderberry will give you up to 10 pounds of fruit. We typically see more like 5 to 7, up to 15 actually, if you got some of the better varieties. So it really depends on what you're trying to do with elderberries. So if you are, let's say you just want to make tinctures, because an elderberry tincture is actually more, you can pull out more than an elderberry syrup. The problem with the tincture is it's alcohol. A lot of people don't want to be giving their 3-year-olds or 5-year-olds alcohol.
You can use vegetable glycerin.
Oh, so yeah, you can do that as well. So in that instance, like we've got like a bag down there of probably it's a pound and a half right now of some dried elderberries, and that would probably make enough like extract for a year.
Just for like a family?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it would be.
So in that instance,
I guess it depends how much you take and how many people you're feeding it to, but it would give you a nice batch.
Yeah, but if you had like a family of 4, if you had 6, 8 good bushes spaced them well apart, I think you'd probably be fine. granted, I mean, we have people that I was talking to a couple that came visit the farm about a month ago, and they put in 3 acres. Now that's a little bit on the other end. I think they're really going. They want to really produce the berries for elderberry syrup and really do a U.S. based that. So yeah, that's good to see. Good to see. Samantha says everything that works there is so kind to tell me about my weekly delivery and how about all the fire starters for Christmas gifts. It's magic. Yes, those fire starters are amazing, and we do have a very fabulous staff. I mean,
we do. Everyone is wonderful.
And again, even the people that have moved on,
yes,
we really enjoyed them.
Oh yes.
Yes. It just didn't work out for one reason or another. Yes.
That's what I mean. The benefit of the doubt, and we don't know all the details.
Yeah.
So.
But it is, yes, it's
But it is frustrating.
Back to elderberries. Do you need to have different kinds? We have 2 3-year-old clumps from rooted companies giving us flowering last year. We got no berries. Ooh. If they're 3-year-old and you haven't gotten anything, you might need a pollinator. It could be the same one. So typically, you're just going to look for another one. Bob Gordon is our favorite variety. We really like that and Wildwood. They're just 2 fabulous varieties.
Why do you like them? Why are they fabulous?
Bob Gordon hangs down, upside down, so the birds don't go after it. Yep. Like Adams is an old variety. It's a huge variety. I mean, look at the 12 feet tall. Mm-hmm. And the problem is they're almost hard to pick.
Sure.
So,
if you like climbing trees.
Well, you can't climb them. So you got to pull them over, and then you get anyway. So Bob Gordon stays nice and compact. It's it's a good variety.
Okay, but what about Wildwood? You said.
It's pretty similar.
The berries hang down,
and the berries are big.
Oh,
nice big berries. Yeah. Easy to harvest. Yeah. All right. So this is my husband was in retail for 44 years. Walking off the job or not showing up for work, unfortunately, is more common than you think. Yeah.
We have gotten ghosted a lot more recently. Ghosted is maybe too strong of a word, but I'm showing up here and then nobody shows up.
Yes. Well, and then there was somebody who actually intentionally sabotaged us. They were scheduled for a Saturday to work all day and then did not show up and sent us a nasty message afterwards.
I don't remember all of those details, but yes.
Anyway, that was not a good situation. And anyway.
But you know what? Sometimes I think we dodged a bullet, because it's
absolutely. Yes.
I don't really want, I don't know.
Yeah. Holly's asked, do we still have rhubarb the plant? We do. So interestingly, so the online sales side of our business has grown very fast, very rapidly. I would say too rapidly. And last year, I think
who's responsible for that?
Last year we brought in, I think, 400 rhubarb crowns. Okay.
Yeah.
We sold out early. So this year we brought in.
So Michael was like, "Hey,
1,000 rhubarb crowns."
That's not double. That's more than triple.
And about a week and a half ago, we were at like I've only sold 250. So we had 750. And so I was like, oh guys, we need to do something about this. So again, we started doing some marketing on this. I just checked today. We are down to 490 rhubarb crowns.
So yeah, Holly, let us know.
Yes.
How many hundred you want.
Now, the thing is, guys, is that we actually want a fair amount of crowns for ourselves because you all keep buying the rhubarb at the farm store. So we are going to be putting in.
So good.
Yeah.
And then you know how many people haven't had rhubarb? Mm-hmm. Remember, I made a rhubarb crisp like twice because people were like
dying.
I never had rhubarb. I don't know if they were dying, but
I mean that's one of the things we're really excited about is using that in the kitchen.
Oh yeah.
So now that we have the guys baking, we haven't even gotten a strawberry season with them yet. So we're going to be doing strawberry things, rhubarb things.
Strawberry rhubarb things.
So and unfortunately, there really might not be that much rhubarb in the store if we're sending it to the kitchen.
Don't. Okay.
So
you're going to need more land.
All right, so another question here. Garlic tumor growing tips, spacing, watering, covering with plastic or shade cloth. Yes. So depending on where you are in the U.S., typically you're going to want some covering. Now, if you're down in zone 7 or warmer, you really don't need a plastic over it. Here in zone 6, it really helps. We're going to be planting some outside this year on green plastic, and
just to try it.
Yeah, we're going to try some. We might not get the yields, but tunnel space for us is always very precious, and so
that makes sense.
Yeah. So both of these crops are shade loving because they're a forest understory. Ginger more than turmeric. So we typically do like to put shade on them, like a 30% shade. And then we have it set up so we're misting them multiple times a day. So we are hitting them with some water every single day. It's not essential. If you want to grow a few plants, I'd say just go for it. And just make sure you keep them in the hot side of your house and just throw some water at them. But yeah, definitely, hot, wet, and a little bit dark. Not dark, but shaded. Someone's asking, have a question. Starting to prepare the ground for planting. I heard different stances on tilling the ground before planting. What's your advice? Oh, this is a fabulous question. So it all comes down to the...
You've opened up a new lever.
It all comes down to... so there's a lot of talk about no-till, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with no-till. In fact, we've done some no-till hills.
Especially on a smaller scale, no-till can work a lot.
So
better.
Our favorite way to prepare beds, if you want to do them no-till, is to get some thick cardboard. And actually, right now, the farm has a fair amount of cardboard. So if people buy compost from us, I can have convinced the guys to give you some free cardboard. They'll be pretty large sheets, and that's kind of what we use, like 4 feet wide. And so what you basically do is you pick the area in your yard that you want to do it. You can do a little bit of tillage. You can just work it up and put some fertilizer down. Then you take the cardboard, just lay the cardboard, and then you put compost on top of the cardboard and let it sit for a week or two. What happens is the compost starts breaking the cardboard down a bit, and then you can break holes in the cardboard and just sit your plants right in there. And
it's a good weed grass barrier.
Yeah, because basically after a couple of weeks, it starts breaking down the sod.
You wouldn't want to put potatoes in that, though.
No. So great clarification.
This is like one of the things I've really internalized.
Root crops. You do not want to plant root crops in the first year on a bed like that because wire worms love sod, and so coming out of sod, they're just going to go right up and eat your carrots and your potatoes.
Wire worms are nasty.
I mean, okay.
They're wild.
So that would be great for like tomatoes, you can do squash, you can do cucumbers.
Flowers.
Yes, yeah. And
peas.
Yeah, you can do peas that way. What I would say though is you may want a little more fertilizer than normal because you're trying to break down compost and cardboard and the sod.
You wouldn't want to do onions or garlic in that, would you?
Well, so the thing is, if you put it down in the spring, by the fall, when you put down garlic and onions, and we do fall planted onions around here, they're going to do fabulous.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Yeah, so I think you'd actually really be fine.
Gotcha. Maybe that was not the information you were looking for.
Well, so all right. So now again, if you're trying to get a garden ready really quick in the spring, to me, the best way to do it is to take your ground, put a raised bed, make a raised bed, or put a raised bed like frame around it. Fill it with the Garden Dew Veggie Dew product that we have out here.
It's an orange bag.
It's an orange bag, not a green bag?
Yep, it's an orange bag. It's the seed starting.
That's the green?
There's the green, yeah.
Okay, so you want the orange bag that's outside there, and fill it with that, and then you can't go wrong. Yeah. Again, you're going to spend some money up front, but you will have the best garden you've ever had. The product that we have out there, again, we've been using it since 2020. So we've been using it now for 5 years, and it's great stuff. There's no weed seeds in it. It's got plenty of fertility. It's not full of junk. So it's really good stuff, and you'll be very happy.
Really dialed in. It's not like you're kind of just hoping, guessing. Yeah. Fingers crossed.
You could plant your plants in it, no fertilizer, and you'd probably have a very, very good garden. So that to me is the fastest way. And then the other way is you can just literally, we have a guy here that does garden tilling, so you can have him come out till your garden in the spring. But if you do sod, best would be to come back and have them do a second tilling as well. And just because they need to break down that sod. Yeah. So yes, hopefully that was kind of helpful. All right. So Brandon's asking, does it matter what dill you use for pickling?
Well, are we fridge pick? I would say if you're like doing a quick pickle, like a fridge pickle, no. But if you're canning pickles,
do you want dill weed, like the actual seed?
You might. Well, it's usually like a pickling spice, like a pickling blend of spices, and they're usually dried. Because I think the fresh dill might change the pH or the water content. I was thinking more the acidity of whatever it is you're canning. I mean the cucumbers.
So, all right, when my mom did canned pickles, because she would do canned pickles,
I
it
know.
was cucumbers, garlic, and dill.
Even her canned pickles.
Yeah.
And she didn't use any pickling salts to keep them crunchy or anything?
Nope. We use grape leaves.
You use grape leaves to keep them crunchy, yeah.
Wild grape leaves.
But she used fresh dill.
Yeah, or dill. Well, no. I mean, she also used dill weed, which is the top part.
Right. But it was dried. Or was it fresh?
I think either or.
Oh, okay.
Both work.
Both work. But dill weed.
Yes.
So that's when the dill plant's gone to seed.
Well, you could use fresh, but you can also. I think it really.
So it doesn't matter, is what we're saying.
In my experience, my background. Now, I'm sure someone might pop up here in the comments and say, "There's a lot of comments."
There's a lot of comments.
So
we gotta go one by one.
Yes. So again, you could also Google it or grok it at this point. That's what we do. Yes.
I think Michael talks to Grok more than he talks to most people. I'm kind of kidding.
I do use it a lot.
They are getting to know each other.
Actually, it's interesting because it used to be that I'd have to go get like a couple books out of the library or spend a couple hours on the internet researching the difference between nitrite and nitrate nitrogen. So that was the other night. I was a deep dive into these. And so I kind of understood them, but really wanted to understand how they interacted and then the different ways organically. You want to come see Dad?
I don't know.
The different ways that or the different organic fertilizers we can use and how they interact with the soil. So it literally was like a 45-minute conversation with it, diving in and pulling up more information and researching it. And we came up with a little ditty. Rate is great and nitrite is right to jail because nitrite is not as good nitrogen. You have to convert nitrite to nitrate in order for the plants to use it. So that was a little ditty we came up with.
I like it.
And
it makes me think of the episode of Parks and Rec when the guy's like,
yes,
you don't park your car right, straight to jail.
Yes,
you don't do this, straight to jail.
Yes. Anyway, so Samantha's asking, do you all teach a tinctures class? Plant all types of medicinal plants. Awesome. I'd love to learn other ways to use herbs for my family. We should do that.
We should, and we should get Shannon, who used to work here, in on that because she likes all those things.
Oh yeah,
she went to school to be an herbalist.
Yeah, so she's great in all those things. She has some new products in the store too.
Yes, she does. She has some tallow, some magnesium spray, like a tallow face balm.
Yeah.
Some chapstick, which I haven't tried yet.
Yes.
Yes. I don't know. Thank you for saying yes, it is my husband who is responsible for the growth, Ollie. And yeah, rhubarb is such like a great.
Yeah, we have plenty. So yeah, we definitely have 5 plants. Dr. Stevens and Dr. New used to mulch with old carpet. Yeah. And like an old wool carpet, I would 100% be okay with, but like the current regular carpets, I would be a little concerned with the microplastics. But I see why they would do it. Yeah, because it's impervious.
Well, Sarah just said something about cardboard, the glue, you wouldn't be considered organic.
Absolutely, there's concerns there. It also really depends on the type of cardboard. So you definitely do not want shiny cardboard.
Yeah, like the
laminated stuff. And anything that has like wax base. So we have a lot of wax based boxes on the farm here. Those would definitely not be good either. The cardboard we have it's actually an agricultural cardboard we get. So I'd be better with it, but it would be a good thing to do a deep dive into exactly what types of glue that is.
Don't those big like tote box that we get pumpkins in, aren't they stapled together? They're not glued together?
Well, but when cardboard's made, cardboard is glued.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yes.
Okay.
You're right, that is stapled together. Yes. Yeah.
Angela bought a greenhouse and is excited to get started. Any help would be greatly appreciated. Ooh, what kind of greenhouse?
Yes, Brandon's asking about a fridge pickle.
Oh yeah, fridge pickle doesn't matter what kind of dill you use at all. I always use fresh dill because that's what I have.
Yeah.
Thankfully, the dill and the cucumbers come with the same.
So how do you set up the guy that tills? So I need to get that up on the website and under services page.
And just do a little blurb on Facebook about
that.
His name is Bruce. He's very nice.
Yes.
He'll answer any of your questions.
Yes, Bruce is very nice.
Yes.
Yes. Everyone's buying greenhouses.
Hey man, inflation is real. You might as well spend your money on a greenhouse.
Yes.
I'm coming in for your new vegetable soil and the flower soil. It is. I'm so glad we were able to get a really high quality bagged soil, because the last 2 years we didn't have one, because the first year we did it, we didn't like the product.
No, we brought it in when we
we're
sold
not
it,
impressed.
and then we tried it, and then because I'd used it in the past, but then we also ran it to the greenhouse, and just the quality wasn't there. So
But anyway,
it was cheap.
Yeah, this stuff's really great, and you'll be really happy. And it's just way more doable for people, because I think raised beds are just such the way to go for your average Joe.
Melanie's asking, plant fall strawberries been covered with straw. They might come back, but it sounds to me like they didn't. On spring strawberries and how to handle wiregrass. So I'm not exactly sure what actually I know what you're talking about on wiregrass now. Yes. It's nasty stuff. I would say that's one of our least favorite weeds.
What's the wiregrass?
It's the stuff that was in this front field. It clumps.
We had to like cut it out.
Yeah. Hey, bud.
I like the stuff that just like pops out.
Yeah, the stuff that doesn't.
No.
All right. Velma's asking, why the use of wild grape leaves in dill pickles? Supposedly, it's supposed to make them more crisp.
It's the tannins in the grape leaves that keep the cucumber crispy during the pickling process. So
yes, and there's a number of things you can do, especially if you're going to can them, because canned pickles are always usually kind of slimy. And Ramon would, she still makes some. But how we would eat them is we would literally usually slice them and put them on sandwiches and stuff. We wouldn't really eat the pickle because it was just kind of a little slimy. But she used to make so many pickles.
It's because you grew so many cucumbers.
Yeah, but the biggest thing with cucumbers, for pickles, is you want little tiny pickling cucumbers. That's the absolute best.
Like Kirby.
Yes, you want the pickling cukes, and you want them small, and you want them fresh. You want to go pick them that morning or get them that morning and can them right away, because they're gonna be nice and crisp. And the crisper the pickle going in or the cucumber going in is the better quality.
Yeah, but that's the idea behind the grape leaves.
Yes.
Anything you'd want to keep.
So again, with wiregrass, it's a tough one. A lot of cultivation. A lot of times we talk to people. Let's say you have a garden that's infested with weeds. Is we say, decide you're going to cut it in half, plant half of it this year, take the other half and use a tarp or something to just completely get rid of the weeds for an entire year.
Just keep it on there.
Then what you do is you flip back the next year, so the area that you were using you no longer use. And what you could also do is, before you put the tarp down, put a bunch of compost down, and that compost will just break down, work into the ground, and it will literally be the best garden you've ever had.
Chocolate cake.
Yes, that's very what you're looking for. Yes. Holly's asking, do we have strawberry plants for sale? We have bare root strawberry plants right now. I believe we have 12 different varieties. We have regular June bearing as well as ever bearing or day neutral. And then we also have a lot of strawberry plugs, potted strawberries.
Those are pretty.
And some of those have pink blossoms, red blossoms. Those are all pretty much day neutral. So you're going to plant it, and then it'll give you berries the rest of the season. Typically, they're a little bit smaller berry, more of an alpine style.
Day neutral is also ever bearing.
Yes.
Okay.
Same thing.
Gotcha.
Yes. Yeah.
But those can't go out yet because, they're not out for sale anywhere, like at the store yet. Like you can't come in.
Correct.
But you can buy some of those things online.
Yes. Samantha's saying, we are planning on expanding our garden to be much larger. Would you recommend your compost or the bag soil? It's a pretty big area. Yeah. So if you're looking for value, the bulk compost we have is going to be a lot cheaper. To me, if you have a small garden and then I would just use the bag because it's a lot easier for you to transport and the quality is really good. But if you want to do a big garden, and we offer delivery. So if you're in the 45005 area code, zip code, it is $60 for up to 6 yards of product. If it's beyond that, we'll figure it out. But that's the size of the truck we can get, and we're excited to be able to offer that.
Springboro.
Oh, so yeah, probably a little bit more than that. But we could, So if you give me an exact address or something, I can get you a price on Angela's saying, I need to get some elderberry trimmings. Yes, we do have a lot. I was just inventorying them the other day, and we have a lot of elderberries. We're still good on that, and we have a lot, especially a lot of.
And all those things are for sale online.
Yes, yeah. So let me let me see if I can put something in somewhere.
And our baby is darling. Thank you for noticing. Also where all my hard work goes.
Yes. Anyway.
Oh, she did it.
Oh,
Bree
look at that. Yes, Bree stuck it in there. Hi, Bree. Happy birthday, Bree, too.
Aw.
Yes.
Happy birthday.
Yes,
he does.
Mary says, in the spring, what do you do to your strawberries? I see where people rake the dead leaves off. Absolutely, you can totally do that. Yep, rake the dead leaves off, a little bit of fertilizer, get them going in the spring. And like ours right now, they've already gotten 1 injection of fertilizer. We've already treated them once with a foliar spray, too, to kind of make them happy. And this year, it's going to be all about the strawberry because there is not that many strawberries out there this year. It's really not that we have a lot of competition because we're organic strawberries and there's very few people that can do organic strawberries. But the largest other strawberry producer in the Cincinnati, Dayton metro is not planting any berries this year, or they're not doing any U-pick this year because of the disease. So we are. It's going to be madness. It is going to be a little bit of a nightmare.
Well, and we just don't know what it's going to look like, the yield wise.
Yes. Yeah. So yes, Bree did put this thing in there. That's awesome. Where do you get grape leaves? Holly. So you can. So typically, actually, around here, wild grape grows wild. So I would go to the Metro Park and literally walk up to the woods, and you'll a lot of times see the grapevines just growing right up.
Right now?
Actually, I know exactly where there's some grapevines. What's that?
Not right now.
Well, no, not now.
Okay.
But during the season. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
Where is that Mexican restaurant that we like that's over by the...
The one in Springboro?
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
What's that called?
Tres Amigos.
Okay, so if you go to Springboro, where Tres Amigos is, by their dumpster, there is a very nice, large, wild grape plant. Again, these are the weird things farmers like me take notice of.
We're driving by. I'm gonna come back and get a clipping of that willow right there. I'm like the one off the side of the interstate. Okay.
Actually, I still need to go do that.
You do.
Yes. All right. Okay. How do I destroy aphids on strawberries? My high tonal berries got them. Ooh.
You missed the part where I had a great home burn.
You did. Yep, you did. Monica told you. Yep. Awesome. Holly said, do I get them in the store for
go to the online store?
Yes. So Bree did put the link to the online store. If you want the plants, like the actual plants, those will be out in retail area here in about another week and a half.
Gosh, really? Yes.
Unfortunately, our brassicas aren't going to be quite ready by then, but everything else will be.
Okay, so back to aphids.
Yes. So aphids. So depends on scale. It looks like you're at a little bit larger scale. So you got a high tunnel. So neem guard, I think, is something we've got, and that has
neem guard, NEEM.
Yes, that and pyganic too. So we did struggle this winter with a fair amount of aphids. Again, going back to the beginning, we need someone that can just immediately identify them aphids. But pyganic is something that's very effective. Pyganic's not cheap. It's perithium, so it's basically a concentrate of the perithium flowers, and it's very effective. And so it's interesting, as we spray the different things in the greenhouse trying to attack these aphids, stuff wasn't working. We put the pyganic in, and literally you could see the aphids just like it was like wiping them out. So yeah, that does quite well. And then I think neem guard was another one. So actually, if you have a very, very mild infection.
This isn't something you'd get ladybugs for.
Well, so right now in our greenhouse, let me pull up. If you have a mild infection, Botaniguard and neem mix is what we're using, and that's really both of those are a growth regulator. And so what a growth regulator do, so anytime we're treating something here on the farm, anytime there's a problem, we always try to ask why 5 times. So why do the aphids, why are these here? What we go back and try to figure this out. And then if we're spraying something, we're always trying to do the least toxic and safest. So neem is and the Botanigard, those are 2 things which are a little bit safer than, let's say, the Pyganic. Again, we're organic, so we're not going to spray anything conventional, but all those things are organic items. But Pyganic, Pythium, is something you do not want bees to get around. And so that's something, that's why if you've ever driven by the farm, sometimes literally at 8:30 or 9 p.m. at night in the summer, you'll see us out there spraying. And what we're doing is we're waiting for the bees to go to bed, and then we're going to go out and take care of what we have to take care of.
Because they won't be up for a while.
Yes. Yeah, because they won't be up for another. And then what will happen is the spray will dry to the plant and be safe. Yes. So what is a good elderberry for Illinois? So Illinois, you've got, Illinois is a great place for really any elderberry. It's a little bit colder than, let's say, Missouri. Missouri is kind of like the heaven of elderberries. But up where you are, you're going to Ranch, Adams going to do really well. I think we're out of some of the specialty varieties. We had a couple of new specialty varieties this year. Bob Gordon would do fine. It depends on if you're Southern Illinois, I'd say probably Pocahontas would be fine. Northern Illinois might be a little on the chillier side, but we do have a couple folks in Zone 5 that are doing Pocahontas and doing just fine. So Pocahontas is, I'm just trying to think what I would compare it to. It's a little bit of a diva in that it will give you a lot. The yield potential is incredible there. But you really have to, if you're going to do it well, you've got to trellis it in some aspect. Because the problem is it gets so big and so heavy and so large that it will start breaking off the branches, just crack at the bottom. So that has kind of been the issue. Oh, other than aphids attacking my tunnelberries, the 2,000 strawberries from you are looking great. That is really good to hear. Yeah, that's absolutely good to hear. Yes. Yes. Stealing grape leaves on private property. Well, it's in the parking lot, around the dumpster.
And then it didn't say.
Do not take the grape
forage.
leaves.
There was no foraging.
Yes. Yeah. Yes.
Oh, Bree's on top of it.
Bree is on top of it, yes. Squash bugs on the pumpkins and the zucchini. They tore my pumpkins up last year. Squash bugs are...
I remember getting photos about this. Not your squash bugs.
No, squash bugs are really evil.
I think everyone would agree.
And the squash, there is really no great organic treatment of squash bugs. So we try to attack them in a multi-step process. It's kind of a multi-prong attack. You try to get them to the front, the back, and the side. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to do some nematodes. And so nematodes is something that you can spray in your garden. Actually, in about another week or 2, you'll be your first application. And nematodes going down to the ground, and it's going to basically destroy any pupa.
Where would you get nematodes?
Arbico Organics.
Arbico Organics.
There's actually a couple different places. So Arbico is very expensive. Fast shipping, but they are very expensive. So we did get nematodes last year from someplace else. I just can't remember where I got them from. So nematodes first start. Then the other thing is if you see them, just pick them off and squish them. And then the biggest thing is the life cycle. There's going to be multiple generations through the year, and so you basically are looking for the eggs. The eggs they're typically like a shiny copper, and they're underside of the squash leaves. And one of the easiest ways to get rid of them is take like duct tape and wrap it sticky side out around your wrists. And then as you're working through the squash, you just kind of grab them, hit them with that, and that will kind of grab the eggs and pull them off, and then just throw the eggs away. If you get past that and get into where you have little larvae, that is when Pyganic is very effective. And so that is, again, that's that 8:30, 9 p.m. period of us going out and spraying the squash, because the next morning at 5 a.m., you will have your bees back in the flowers.
Which you want.
Yeah. So that's why you're going to spray the Pyganic late at night to be careful about that.
They're gross.
All right. Someone is asking here, tell me about this new disease of the strawberries. Part of already spoken about it.
We have it today.
it's yes, it's neopestalosiosis or something like that.
God bless you.
In the industry, it's neop for short, and
because everybody says it differently.
Well, so I was at a conference this fall where literally half the talks were about this, and all of these researchers got up there and they had practiced this for hours. So they're all, all of us lay people sitting in the audience, we were like, it's the neop stuff, because we're not going to try to say this massive long word. Yeah. But yes, they were conquering it, just saying it just smoothly.
But didn't it all sound different to you? Or was
there one? No, at the conference it was relatively similar.
Oh, okay. Yes. Online at first it was like everyone was saying it differently, and I'm like, if you say something confidently enough, people just go, oh yeah.
Yeah. In the industry, we just know it as the disease, because it literally is the absolute worst disease on strawberries that we've ever seen. I actually had one of my soil consultants out today. He was actually delivering some product, and we were actually looking at a field. And again, so this last fall, we grew about 130,000 plugs, about 4 weeks into our tip growing season. And again, we do about an 8-week season. We noticed there's something wrong with a certain variety of plugs. We really didn't think that much of it until we started hearing whispers in the industry that there was problems. And so then we did a bunch of research. We started sending stuff off for testing. We realized the issue. We ended up dumpstering about 30,000 plugs. And the company that we did buy the plugs from did give us a refund for the cost of the plugs. Yeah. And it took them a bit, but they did give us a refund. So that was super nice of them. Although they didn't, obviously, we paid for the soil and for the labor and all that stuff. Again, which, in all honesty, if I had sent someone a disease product, I would feel horrible. But it's nothing. I mean, they did not do this maliciously. Right. It's interesting, the people that had the issue, the nursery in Nova Scotia, I spent about an hour in a hotel hallway chatting with him about it. And some researchers. So it was like researchers, it was me, and then the couple. And, they were just talking about, they really had no clue how it got on the farm. Because again, they start with tissue culture. It goes from tissue culture into the field. They grow it out. They sell the tips. And they really had no clue. And all of a sudden it just started popping up all over the place, only when their tips were. So what the disease does, now we've got a little bit of background here. It started in about probably the year 2000, California, Florida, and then
COVID of strawberries.
And then it popped up really bad in the Carolinas. Now, some people claim it came out of the Carolinas and the mountains, from mountain laurel, came across from mountain laurel into the strawberry fields, because mountain laurel is a known alternative host. But it is definitely something that's been all over Florida and now is in California, and they have aspects of it in Mexico. But what it does to the plant, and it depends on the level of infection. If it's got a relatively low infection, the plant will just look off and it just won't be vigorous. If it's got a severe level of infection, the plant will literally just shrivel and die. And today we were out looking at the berries field, and there would be a row of berries that was beautiful, 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 and all of a sudden it would stop. And there'd be just 40 missing out of the field, or 40 or 45. And that's really interesting, because basically you can tell that was one tray that was heavily infected. The other tray was not infected at all. So again, when we shipped out plants to customers, we were very careful to quarantine anything that could have gotten close to the ones that were infected. We threw all we thought were all the infected ones, but it does sound that some of the ones that we quarantined around them could have possibly been some of the infected ones, and that's why those areas of the field did experience that sudden death. But yeah, we're on a very aggressive organic spray schedule, and we're doing a lot of bacteria and fungi. And again, so we're fighting basically the disease with basically good bugs. So they're bad bugs, we're fighting with good bugs.
Well, there's just so much nobody knows about it too.
Well, I mean? That is something that the industry is scrambling. They kind of have their pants down a bit. And they're just trying to figure it out at this point.
Well, and if you're a conventional grower, you're just going to hit it with your fungicides.
Yeah, and so that's interesting. And actually, some of the, so again, how it got into the field is kind of a little, they don't know, but there's a working theory out there. Because again, this is the kind of great gossip. Oh, it wasn't really gossip. It was information that you talk about in the hallway
at the strawberry
convention. Is that actually they used a synthetic fungicide? No, synthetic. I don't know exactly what it was. I think it was a fungicide or a carrier that actually caused the disease. The disease they think came up on the hurricanes that did get up in the Nova Scotia, I believe, last year. And they think what may have happened is that they was sitting on the outside, really wasn't doing anything. They hit it with a spray. And there are these sprays out there, and they're very attractive to us as growers, because what they do is they take whatever other thing you're trying to deliver to the plants, and it helps it cross the cell wall barrier. So basically what it is, so basically if you're trying to treat an infection, the only way you can attack it is by putting something in your arm. That's not really going to be very effective. But if you can take the thing internally, it works from the inside out. And so that's what this does with the plant, is some of these things actually suck whatever you're trying to get in, and it sucks it into the plant, and then it makes it way more effective. And so what the working theory is that what happened up there, the disease was on the outside and it got sucked into the plant, and the plants look great. They look really, really healthy, but it caused an issue. Where was I going before that? Oh, what we're spraying.
Yeah.
Well, as organic growers, we don't have those tools in our toolbox because those are all conventional things. So we're stuck with using the other things. I mean, that is if Neop does become a large deal in the industry, which everyone's afraid of, if that happens, then, I mean, we've had the conversation.
Yes, we have.
We may move to doing our strawberries conventionally. It's not a pretty conversation, and obviously we would be, what would that look like? It's one of those things like,
well, you were talking to that guy, and it was like the spray, it wasn't like you're spraying Roundup on everything.
No,
because that's not going to do
basically
anything.
It's a synthetic form of nitrogen.
Right.
And what that synthetic form of nitrogen does, urea, and what urea does what I just talked about, is weakens that cell wall barrier and allows it to suck things inside. So it basically allows us to continue to use a mostly organic program, but allows us to use a few targeted things throughout the year to really make the berry good. And
we wouldn't be spraying the berry itself.
No. Yeah. And so that's the other thing, is when you're spraying as well. So
it's just one of those things we have to weigh.
Again, I'm sitting on the bus chatting to strawberry farmers, and the strawberry farmer is sitting there telling me his entire spray program. Because again, we're not conventional, but I'm always learning, and I'm always interested in what farmers are doing. So he told me he did this, he does this, he does this. And then I said, oh, what's your Facebook page? So I pull up his Facebook page, and because he's very successful, they have a very big operation in another state. And so I'm scrolling through the comments, and I start reading the comments. And in the comments, someone says, well, do you spray the berries? And the comment back to them is, no, we do not spray the berries. So literally 5 minutes before, this grower has told me his entire spray program of everything he's spraying on the berries. And in the comments, he's saying he doesn't do it. I mean, another thing they'll say, well, people ask, well, do you spray Roundup? And because Roundup has several trade names, and the active ingredient is glyphosate, and Roundup is a trademarked symbol, they can spray glyphosate, which is the active ingredient, and they technically don't have to say we did spray Roundup. They can spray, no, I don't spray Roundup. But in all reality, they sprayed the exact same thing, just under a different name. So I guess to say, it's just watch it out there, guys. It's a wild west.
We will never do that.
Yes.
So
if we were to have to go that route to get a strawberry crop, you would know. It would be on our website. Okay, this is our spray protocol.
We literally have people who come and pick our strawberries because they have
yes.
so many crazy allergies they couldn't even eat a regular strawberry. So
yes,
I think he needs to have me on his podcast too. because I say amazing gems.
Oh. Something is coming up under my berries just in my patches eating root systems. I'm assuming voles. I put a PVC trap like that you did, but kill traps you found will work well. Yes. Yep, you can do the PVC bait traps. That does work. This is Destiny at Luke's place.
Yes.
So Luke's bought strawberry plants from us.
Oh, nice.
Well,
nice.
Luke talked me out of 2,000 strawberry plants that now Destiny is benefiting from.
I love it. Hey, that's the real deal.
But yes, we actually, it's interesting, in our onion patch this year, we did have a little bit of issue with.
What are those things that you put in the ground and they like?
Well, yeah, but that's more of a mold,
Oh,
not voles. Voles really are, they don't push up the soil, and you need that push action.
I see.
You can also put snap traps in the PVC and bait it with a strawberry bubble gum.
Excuse me?
Yes.
Okay.
Supposedly it works.
Oh, supposedly.
I haven't tried it, but people have told me.
You've never been like, hey, I need you to go get some strawberry bubble gum.
Well, we haven't been that desperate. Maybe we should be more desperate. Yes. Yeah. All right. Well, I think we ran out of questions.
For now.
Yes. But going back to the NEOP, I literally today or yesterday talked to my provider of strawberry tips. Our tips this year will not be coming from Nova Scotia. I think we're going to give them a year off. We'll just make sure they've got it figured out up there.
Because it likes humidity, correct?
Yes. So the provider this is what saved us last year. Last year, we bought half of our tips from Idaho and half of our tips from, well, not half of our tips, like those 30,000 from Nova Scotia. So 100,000 from Idaho and 30,000 from Nova Scotia. And basically the 100,000 saved us because they were clean. They were very clean. Again, it's one of those guys who took a gamble, moved out there, started working. And he's rough around the edges. Wonderful, nice guy, but just, meeting these guys that, he gambled $1 million on this. Literally.
Oh, wow.
Like he was calling me. So this was right in the middle of the entire strawberry season. We literally had to cancel all our orders and refund a whole bunch of money because of those initial 30,000. That goddamn, they were bad.
Yeah, that feels like a lifetime ago.
It does feel like a lifetime ago. So we canceled the orders, and I was out of cash because we had invested all this cash up front. So literally, I called him up and was like, I know I owe you $17,000, but I can't pay you $17,000 right now because I need to make payroll. And so he says, all right, well, pay me when you want to pay me. But he says, I'm trying to get paid because I know in the next week and 2 weeks, I'm putting out $250,000 to pay my H2A labor. So now, granted, he had all those plants sold, and but still, yes. And this is why I have white hair.
It could be genetic, though. Have you looked at your mom?
Yes. Yes. Yeah. All right, guys. So there we go.
What's high brew gold?
I'm not sure. Yes. Yeah, strawberries. I think we're gonna. After I looked at the fields this year, I think we are gonna have a really good U-pick year. I think we're gonna be good. We've got about an acre over at the new farm. We've got about a half acre here at the home farm.
We'll take them up as soon as they're done fruiting. Is what
yes.
you said.
So yeah. So here's how we're handling it this year: is that literally, as soon as the fruiting's done this year, there will not be a strawberry left in the farm. So, there's multiple places. Sometimes we'll carry some rootstock through. We have strawberries around the house here.
Yeah.
So that really should be something you and the kids, we're going to rip that whole bed out.
They don't do much. That's more just like
fun.
An after car trip snack.
Yes. Which is, it's legit.
Oh, it is legit.
But yeah, so there will not be, for July, for late June, July, and into August, because the problem is our first tips come in late August. for about 2 months, we will not have a berry on any of the farms. And we'll make sure that we're working those fields, keeping them tilled, because the goal is that you want to try to starve out any organisms of that disease on the farm. So clean plant material is key, but also making sure the fields are clean. And they said as long as you get rid of the crowns and stuff, you should be good. That really can't survive in the soil too long. The other thing we're trying to invest in is the steamer, because the steamer will allow us to steam the soil as well. So
how do you prep your elderberries for use?
Well, we pick them, cut them off.
Yeah.
And then Marty, who's one of the other growers in the area, he has a elderberry destemmer. And so we run them, we take whatever we got, we run it over there. He runs them to his destemmer, and then we bring the berries back and we freeze them, we dry them. And I think drying is probably the best way to do about it. Yeah. Freezing them, we have a freeze dryer now too, so we could freeze dry them. There's not a lot of advantages to freeze drying over just regular drying though.
You probably retain more nutrients freeze drying, like anything.
Yes.
But it's an expensive process.
Yes.
So
yeah.
You can also just throw them in your freezer, which is what I've done, and then just use them
to make syrup.
Or juice, kind of. When I have time.
Yeah.
But just hold them.
Yeah.
In the freezer.
Oh, Melanie is asking, have you experimented with any companion planting to see what would help with the strawberry disease? Just curious. We have not.
That's an interesting idea.
There's a lot of research being done. We are messing with a couple different things in the field right now to kind of this year to kind of see what. So we're doing a couple trials and stuff. We'll let you know how that turns out.
Is there a plant that's known to be antifungal or fungal resistant? I'm not saying you know the answer to this. I'm just like, that's just an interesting idea. I haven't thought about that.
Well, so yes, there are some antifungal plants, but the question is, would it go after this specific fungus?
For sure.
So that's like with it's interesting, like we're using things like Root Shield and a lot of what we're using is like these bacteria that will colonize on the surface of the plant or in the plant and basically outcompete it. So, I mean, that's an interesting. There are antifungals out there. I mean, like even garlic is an antifungal.
Right.
So, I mean, could we take garlic and like freeze dry it and then put it in a solution and spray that? And would that help? I don't think we want our strawberries to taste like garlic. But I mean, this is the kind of stuff that I just need some cushy research job at some university.
A cushy research job. I think you'd get bored out of your mind.
Yes. So I didn't realize Luke was going to the Arizona for 3 years. Wow.
You did steal a farm. That's me.
Yes. He's got a cute farm. Luke had a really cute farm.
I told him what color to paint his barn.
Yes.
What exactly do you use strawberries for disease? We use a lot of different things. It just
so disease. I mean, I think we've got an organic. If you email Bree at growingfarmers.com, I believe Bree does have a strawberry. It's in our strawberry course, but I think Bree can get you the one sheet of the things we recommend for it. Yes. Yeah. Peppermint oil, yeah, we could try that too. There is some people out there that are talking about these different things, essential oils and stuff, to start messing with those. Interestingly enough, I know folks are now using like essential oils on beehives, which was kind of some really interesting. Yeah, it's actually been working pretty well.
Central Illinois strawberries.
Really, any strawberry is going to be good
kind
there.
Of prime area.
Yeah, it's prime strawberry. I mean, it comes back to what you want to do. Do you want to put strawberries in now, take care of them for a year, or do you want to wait till the fall and put in plugs, which I think are better? Now, here's the thing: if you're trying to get away from the neopy disease, then I would definitely plant June bearers, because they can very easily tell in the June bearer fields if they have that disease, and so they just scrap the field. So, but yeah, the crowns we have
gives
look really
you a
good.
shorter window for things to get hairy.
Yeah.
You also talked about how, because June bearers are bearing in like May and June, that like the everbearers can get into that hot season where like the humidity can affect the fungus.
Because we did have issues. So we actually had issues with our everbearers,
Right.
which we thought it was that disease, ended up not being that disease.
Yeah, so
it was
weird,
a different
it can
disease.
look like 4 other different
See,
things.
that is the other problem with the Neo-P, is it can look like 4 other diseases. And so at this point, you're like ripping your hair out. And it was interesting because I would text pictures of the field to the researchers at the university, and they're like, hey, dude, I said, I'd love to help you, but I can't. Send it in. And they'd send it in. Let's see. We are not so we do not have a commercial kitchen on the farm anymore. We are renting a commercial.
It was never a certified.
Yes, it was never a certified commercial kitchen. It was a farm kitchen. Very clear on that distinction. The state of Ohio was very confident about their word commercial.
In case anyone's listening, the state of Ohio.
But yes, we lease a kitchen, rent a kitchen in Springboro at this time. We're very happy. The crew's very happy over there. It's a wonderful kitchen. The capacity is huge, and they are the crew's cranking over there. So we're super excited about that side of the business growing very fast. I mean, the crew is
faster than we can handle.
Yes. So yeah, they're doing a lot over there.
Like usual.
Yes. And where we are, the farm that we lease for strawberries is on the other side of Carlisle off of Chamberlain Road. Where does our honey come from? So we have most of our honey on the farm we have beehives on farm, but then Travis.
Humble Bumble Apiary.
Yes, they have bees around Carlisle. And they're actually supposedly moving bees over to John's.
Oh.
They're gonna move some, yeah. So we'll, yeah. So, but yeah, we buy a a fair amount of Travis's honey.
Local honey.
Yes, it's within a half mile of the farm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And on farm.
Yeah, and Scott Hamilton will definitely bring us some honey at some point. He only brings us when he has extra, and he'll just drop it off, and we give him a check, and he goes on his merry way.
It is good honey.
Yeah. All right, folks, we've gone for over an hour. And I think we are going to let you guys all go. This has been fun. I've had fun. Have you had fun? Did Ellis have fun? I think Ellis had fun.
Ellis probably wishes he was in bed nursing, but you can't always get what you want.
That's true. Yes.
He did good. He did good. But he's a good one.
Yeah.
This was fun, and we'll do it again.
All right, folks. You guys all have a good night, and we will chat with you next month or something like that. It's a little intermediate.
Hot and cold.
Yes. All right, Holly's got another question, I think.
Oh, real quick.
Yes.
Too bad we don't have a little dot.
Yes. She said she finally perfected sourdough.
And kombucha.
Oh.
I have made kombucha off and on through the years, but right now I don't want to keep one more thing alive. And we have some really good kombucha on.
Oh my gosh. I do not want to tell you guys how much kombucha that just came into the farm. He kept bringing it and kept bringing it and kept bringing it.
We sell so much kombucha.
Do we?
Yes.
It was a lot. And he even said you guys sell a lot of kombucha.
We sell a lot of kombucha. And
the invoice was a very big invoice.
Oh, are you nervous?
Well, I'll be fine. We've made payroll so far.
You know what the thing is? We just keep getting busier when it gets warmer and the weather's nicer. And what do people want?
Kombucha.
A drink.
We actually drink. Yeah.
Yeah, we probably drink 4 to 6 a week.
Yeah, the kids drink it.
Charlotte would drink one every day if I let her.
She would, yes. She likes it. I still think the mint is my favorite.
Yeah, the mint, mine's the meeting of the mints. The meeting of the mints, I think is what it's called. It's so good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At Magic Class Sourdough class that I bought. So yes, that is something you're going to reach out to Bree at growingfarmers.com, and Bree can get your access to all that very easily. I think if you go to growingfarmers.com, though, you really should be able to access it right there. So I think you should look for an email from Growing Farmers, and that will give you your login information. But email Bree at growingfarmers.com. She's the wizard on that whole side of everything, and we'll get you all taken care of. So,
Bree the wizard.
all right. You all have a good night. We'll chat with you later.